Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the best power forwards in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM here on this tier list. We got 35 of the best power forwards in the game to rank today. Let me know in the comments if I missed anybody that you'd like to hear my thoughts on. But before we hop into it and rank these guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. Upload every single day, multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. I'm recording this video at almost 2 a.m. because I got things to do in the morning on Wednesday. I'm trying to make sure y'all get y'all's videos out, or I get videos out for y'all as per normal. So we're out here grinding. We'd really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, Chris Webber's the first card on the list, and I think he's pretty mediocre. Jumper is meh. Movement is not horrible for a power forward. His stats and badges are pretty good. He doesn't have elite size without like a massive player build, but he is like 6'10", so not too bad there. I think maybe 6'9", 6'10", somewhere around there. Not a bad card. Wish the jumper was a little better. If it was better, he'd be higher for sure, but I think B tier is fair. Zach Randolph, not atrocious. His stats are better than you'd think. Jumper is not great. Overall, he's not horrible. He's not great at all, though. I think he's worse than Weber. I'd go C tier for him at this point. Ben Wallace has a smooth jumper, a little bit of a lower three ball, undersized, elite defender. He is fast. He's useful. He's got B tier. I think if he had a higher three ball, I'd consider higher, but as is, I think B tier is right. Dolph Schayes is an absolute atrocity. His jumper is terrible. He's kind of slow. He doesn't have super complete badges. He is just really flawed. Not a very good card. I think D tier. Dirk is better at power forward, or sorry, he's better at center than he is at power forward. I know he's probably one of the 3 or 4 greatest power forwards in the history of the sport, but his jumper's not great, and that does hurt him as a popping power forward a bit. He's not super duper fast, only 85 speed, which isn't terrible, but it could be a little bit annoying. I think low A, high B is probably fair. I'll go low A for now. I like Dirk enough. He has a couple flaws. He's not a perfect card. Joel Embiid, A tier, solid card. Defensively, he's pretty good. He's got great size, 7 foot. He's got a nice release. He's got good wingspan, decent speed at 84. Not bad at all. I think I probably would take him over Dirk just because of the better jumper on Embiid. Kevin Garnett I am going to go S tier despite him not having a great jump shot. His stats and badges are unbelievably immaculate. His jumper is not great, and his movement isn't either. His SIGs and his jumper, which doesn't matter that much in the scheme of things, but it matters. It absolutely does. He's still S tier 100%, but he may not be S tier for that long if they start dropping some cards with better animations, because his animations are certainly limiting. Season 1 Karl Malone is just not quite elite anymore. He's not unbelievably fast. He's a little undersized, honestly. Jumper's fine, but not great. Defensively, good card, but again, nothing too ridiculous at this point. He has been, I think, a little bit outdated at this point in the year. Came out like the 2nd week of the game, so you can't really blame him. Dwight Howard, I think, has I'm going to go high A. I really like the card. I wish his jumper was a little smoother, a little bit faster. That's about it. I mean, his upper's not very good. His base really is pretty decent this year, even though it is Dwight based. It's actually not that bad. Upper wise, it could use some work, and it's a little bit on the slower end, and that does hold him back a bit. I think A tier is probably fair, and I'm fine with that as well. Akeem Olajuwon, same story as honestly Embiid. Good at everything, not great enough to be S tier, but very, very solid. Definitely A tier. That was another one that I think is kind of an easy choice. No brainer there. Giannis is dominant defensively. He's 6'11". He's got a pretty good, jumper's not great, but it's not horrible. His stats and badges are insane besides the shooting ability. I have grown to really like Giannis as the year progresses. I think he's very solid. I think S tier is totally fair. Evan Mobley, I get that there is going to be some issues with this one because statistically he's a very solid card. His jumper is, when I say god awful, I mean god awful. It is so bad. And look, y'all say sometimes that I care too much about jump shot. His jumper is the worst. It is so bad. I don't know why Evan Mobley's jumper has been so bad the last couple of years, but it sucks, and it's a killer, and he is D tier. And so is Patrick Ewing, by the way. I don't care that he's an opal. His jumper is also an absolute atrocity. Horrible card because he cannot space the floor. I get the stats and badges are good. I just don't care. When you have that bad of a jumper, I'm not interested in using them. That's the honest truth. Sean Kemp is B tier, 90-something speed, very athletic, can hit an open 3. Jumper's not too bad. Don't think he's A tier, but he's not far off. I think high B is fair. He's honestly a very solid budget card. Bob Pettit is actually going to go low A to even, I think, arguably high. Nah, I'm not going low. Sorry, high A to low S. I think high A is the right spot for him. Jumper's super smooth, like super smooth. He's got decent, not amazing speed, like 85-ish. But with how good his jumper is and how solid his defense is as well, I think you got to go A tier for Bob. Very solid card. I don't think I'd go S, but I think I'd go A, and I don't mind that. Bob McAdoo, I do believe is S tier. I actually think he's better than Dwight Howard. He's a very similar card to Dwight. They're both super fast power forwards who are elite defensively and elite as dunkers. But the thing about McAdoo is his jump shot is money. Dwight's not so much, whereas McAdoo has one of the better, faster popping releases in the game. That matters, especially with the lower three ball, which they both kind of have. Having the faster release gets it off easier, means less contests, means it's easier to green, especially with that lower 3-ball rating. Definitely S tier to me. Kevin McHale doesn't have any playmaking. He's got long arms, but that's about it. Jumper isn't particularly good. He's not super fast. Be honest, he's not very good. And he's yet another D tier guy on this list. DeMarcus Cousins is fine, not amazing. I mean, honestly, I'd take everybody in A tier over him. Probably think he's solidly B tier with a guy like Sean Kemp. Athletic, yes. Speed, okay. Shooting, okay. Defense, okay. Not bad, not amazing. B tier is fair. Kevin Love is 6'8" with 70 speed. I shouldn't need to say much else than that. He's small, he's slow. Yes, he's a great shooter. It's not enough. Anthony Davis is S tier for sure. Top 3 or so small or power forward in the game. High level jumper, in my opinion. I think defensively holds his own. Some people don't love him. I really do. I think he's very solid, and I think he's S tier for sure. Charles Oakley would be higher for sure if his jumper wasn't on slow. His defense is great. He's got good speed. He's an interesting card. I think his jumper still a bit better than a guy like Ewing or Evan Mobley. So I'll keep him out of the lowest tier, but I wish the jumper was better. If it was, he'd be really, really nice. Wilt Chamberlain. Y'all are going to disagree with me. Some people would put Wilt in S tier. There are people out there in the competitive scene who think Wilt's like the best power forward in the game. His jumper sucks and he's got a low 3-ball rating. I just, it's the honest truth. And for me, I like to pop with my bigs. Y'all might not agree with that. The size, defense, athleticism, all that type of stuff is inarguable for sure. I still think I'd go A tier. My personal opinion with Wilt. I don't love the card. Excuse me. Moses Malone. Not bad, but only a 63 ball, not amazing speed. He's not Wilt Chamberlain. His jumper's nice though. I will say that. I like it more than Wilt's actually, but similarly to Wilt, low 3-ball rating, and I don't think he's quite good enough other ways at this point in the game, being an early season 2 card to be higher than C tier, and I think that's probably the right spot for him. Alonzo Mourning is very, very high level defensively, but he has the same flaw that guys like Ewing and Mobley have, although not quite to the same extent, but his jumper is slow, and it is absolutely baited, and it is absolutely something that hurts the card in a lot of ways. I don't think I could put him higher than C tier. He's just not very good. I think it's fair. Daryl Dawkins, not a great jumper, 63 ball, just not statistically elite in general. When you have all those things going your way, he's not going to be good enough, and I think D tier is fair for him as well. Joakim Noah, he's got good size, he's got good defense, but he's not honestly a very good shooter either. His jumper's really weird, really hitchy. A lot of low tier guys in this list. I get it. He's just not great. Bill Walton, yet another one. Bad jump shot. Not an elite card. I'm sorry. He's not super fast. His stats and badges aren't great. His jumper is ugly this year. Much, much worse than it's been the last couple of years. Again, bad card. Al Horford, 69 speed, 6'9" power forward. Not interesting. He's slow. He's short. And his jumper sucks. Why would I use that card? He might be the worst card on the list. I'm not even kidding. Him and Dolph Schayes, I think, are the 2 worst so far. Kareem, if I put Wilt in A tier, I am also putting Kareem in A tier. Just my opinion. They're both amazing cards, but they are both limited as shooters. And to me, that's pretty important. Some people would disagree. I think A tier is right for him. Pascal Siakam has very complete stats, but the problem with Pascal Siakam is he is only 6'8" and his jumper is janky. Now it's fast, but it is janky. I think high C is probably fair. With the way that I've been ranking this list anyway, I think that's a reasonable spot. Wes Unseld is solidly B. Very smooth jumper, good stats. Badgers could be a little bit more complete. I love the jump shot though. I know he's undersized at 6'7", but the afro does help a little bit. I think B tier is probably fair. Jermaine O'Neal's jump shot is yet again absolutely atrocious, and I'm sorry. People are, I know I've gotten comments recently. Jump shot's the only thing you care about. Things like that, like telling me that I'm dumb because I don't like a card because they're jump shot. I get it. Y'all might like these cards still. I don't. The way I like to play, I need good jump shots. Jermaine O'Neal does not give me that. You know who else does not give me that, but is going to be S tier anyway, is Shaquille O'Neal. He is the one exception to the rule. I understand Wilt and Kareem are basically Shaq light. I think Shaq is the best of the group. He's so dominant on the inside, gets so many good animations, so many special things that I actually think he's S tier despite an ugly jump shot and a low 3-ball. And honestly, it's not as low as Wilt or Kareem, so that is at least a plus. Jaren Jackson Jr., legitimately A tier, and I honestly will have no issues with that whatsoever. I don't care that he's a diamond. He's my favorite diamond power forward in the game. The card is legitimately very good, and I think he's absolutely A tier. And then finally, Chris Bosh, who's got an okay-ish jump shot, but is kind of on the slower end. Not elite defensively, not great at all, in all honesty. I mean, Zach Randolph is probably better. Bosh, I think, is C tier. I have a hard time, I will say, with Ewing in D tier. The reason being, his jumper's horrible, but Oakley's jumper isn't good. Bosch's jumper isn't particularly good. I'm moving Ewing up. That's the one change I'm going to make, just because his stats are so good that I can live with what is a bad jump shot, in my opinion. So with that being said, just going to do it for the video. Hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. Be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.